You know that device you're walking this explainer on right now? Well, its battery, its screen, all its internal circuitry, literally none of it exists without critical minerals. They're the absolute bedrock of the modern economy. We're talking about the stuff that powers everything from advanced electronics to renewable energy tech and even defense systems. And right now, there's this massive, hidden critical mineral wealth that's quietly, but very rapidly, poising itself to completely reshape those global supply chains. We're talking about antimony in Pakistan. Today, we're going to unpack some newly highlighted data that reveals just how incredibly significant Pakistan's deposits really are. So let's get into it. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at KPK's rich mineral reserves. Second, we're heading up north to Gilgit-Baltistan to check out some world-class deposits. Third, we'll break down the billion-dollar economic impact of all this. And finally, fourth, we'll ground ourselves and look at the actual roadblocks to commercial mining.
All right, starting with Part 1, KPK's rich mineral reserves, specifically exploring the Hindu Kush Karakoram block.
Now, what makes the Awarith gold deposit in Chitral so incredibly unique is its complex lead-antimony sulfide ore. But what does that actually mean for extraction? Well, it means the antimony is tightly interlocked with lead minerals on a microscopic molecular level. You can't just dig this stuff up and ship it straight out. No way. It requires highly specialized processing technologies to physically separate the minerals before a commercial processing plant can even be properly designed. So it's this intricate scientific puzzle, just as much as it is a heavy-duty mining challenge.
If we zoom in on the Chitral-Tirik-Mir zone, geological surveys have mapped out several really highly concentrated deposits. Cringe, Partsan, and Alarith Gol are the primary hotspots here. We're also tracking some fascinating showings of antimony-bearing minerals, like realgar and orpiment, across multiple metallogenic belts right across the province. But while Chitral is undeniably rich in these resources, we've got to remember the intense reality of the geography. The rugged, mountainous topography of these isolated valleys makes exploiting these specific deposits a massively labor-intensive and logistical headache. It is a high-reward situation, for sure, but it demands an incredibly high effort.
Moving on to Part 2, Gilgit-Baltistan's world-class deposits. Really, the crown jewel of critical minerals. Typically, a mining company would be absolutely over the moon to find a deposit with a 1 to 5% grade of antimony ore. At that level, it's considered totally viable for large-scale commercial extraction. But get this, the deposits identified in areas like Darkot and Chuperson in Gilgit-Baltistan, they are showing grades ranging from 50.4% all the way up to an astonishing 81.5%. That completely dwarfs standard commercial viability metrics. It's almost hard to wrap your head around.
Just think about that number for a second. At over 80% grade, these are quite literally among the purest antimony deposits known to exist anywhere on the planet. To put that into perspective, imagine you're panning a river for tiny, almost invisible flakes of gold, right? And instead, you just casually pull out a solid brick. When you have ore that is this unbelievably dense, the underlying economics of extraction change fundamentally. You're moving way less earth for a significantly higher yield of your target mineral. It's a literal game changer. And to really understand the scale of this, significant progress has been made in securing 10 new mineral blocks in this region across these valleys. And hey, it's not just antimony either. There are copper grades ranging from 0.2% up to a staggering 74% across 9 different valleys including Skardu and Neagar. Lead is also highly present in Tangar and Karga. The sheer concentration of high-grade, multi-mineral deposits packed into these specific northern valleys is exactly what makes this a globally significant development. Okay, let's zoom out a bit for Part 3, the billion-dollar economic impact and breaking global monopolies. So, global antimony prices fiercely fluctuate, usually sitting anywhere between $10,000 on the low end to well over $20,000 per ton on the high end. When you factor in the sheer scale of the deposits in Balochistan and KPK, and then add in that unprecedented purity up in Gilgit-Baltistan, well, the claim that Pakistan is sitting on billions of dollars of untapped wealth, that goes from being a bold statement to a highly tangible financial reality. Looking objectively at global market dynamics right now, there is an intense, immediate demand for supply chain diversification. Currently, China holds a near monopoly on the global supply and processing of antimony. But this immense scale of high-grade deposits in Pakistan presents a major, totally viable alternative. And honestly, this matters to all of us. Why? Because reducing monopolies stabilizes the prices of the technology, the batteries, and the screens that we rely on every single day. It directly positions Pakistan as a critical future supplier,
totally capable of feeding the world economy's growing hunger for these specialized minerals.
So, how is this actually going to happen? Well, the national strategy currently in motion to unlock this wealth operates in 3 distinct phases. First, there's a major commercial joint venture between OGDCL and PMDC, which is formally launching at the Pakistan Minerals Investment Forum in April 2025. Second, the Special Investment Facilitation Council is actively setting directional growth and smoothing out those investment pathways. And third, and this is absolutely crucial for long-term viability, they're working from the ground up. OGDCL is collaborating closely with the Higher Education Commission and local universities to align research, development, and educational curricula strictly with global mining standards. It's a really comprehensive, full-stack approach.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 4, Roadblocks to Commercial Mining, or Grounding the Excitement in Reality.
Impartially speaking, having minerals in the ground is only step one. Actually bringing them to the global market is an entirely different beast. The lack of basic infrastructure, specifically roads and power in GB and Chitral, is a massive bottleneck. Furthermore, Pakistan currently has 0 domestic smelting capacity for antimony. That means raw ore actually has to be shipped out for refining to places like Oman. Add in the regional security challenges in parts of Balochistan, plus the fact that full geological surveys are still verifying the exact total reserve numbers, and you quickly realize that massive foreign direct investment is absolutely required to get this off the ground. These are serious, concrete hurdles that demand serious capital.
But even with those logistical hurdles, the underlying data remains completely staggering. From the stibnite veins of Balochistan to the rugged valleys of KPK, to those extraordinary 80% plus grades in Gilgit-Baltistan, the mineral wealth is just undeniable. It carries the potential to entirely reshape the nation's economy and its strategic position in global supply chains. Which leaves us with a final provocative thought to consider as we wrap up this explainer. The question is no longer, does Pakistan have antimony? No. The real question for the global market is, how fast can Pakistan mine it?